Hi folks, Tim here. Welcome back to Elmendorf Acres. It is a beautiful afternoon up here at the property. It's 72 degrees, which is great for mid-August. It's been really hot. We've had a really hot summer, a really wet spring, and that's one of the reasons that I haven't done much with the long format videos this year, is we've been incredibly busy. And I've been on a couple projects. Really only two big projects, but they started right around the 1st of May and ran all the way through to the first week of August. So I haven't had a whole lot of time to produce any videos. But we're going to try to get back into it here a little bit. And one of the things I want to do today is, as you see behind me, we've got our carport. And that was a slab that was poured a couple years ago. And one of the things that we do here is we store a little bit of material over the winter and park the trucks with the sander underneath it. You can see behind me, we've got a couple mowers in there, some snow blowers, things like that. But one of the worst things for concrete is getting salt on it. And you can imagine after you're plowing snow or you've got a sander in the back, you pull in here and it just gets salt on it usually for December, January, February, and March. So what I usually do is once we're done with the snow for the year, I will come up here, we'll clean it all out, we'll shovel everything out. I will bring an IBC tote of water up and actually wash the entire inside of this building out. Well, I call it a building. It's really just a metal roof with a couple tarps on the side. Hopefully that'll change at some point. But to get the junk off the slab and that salt residue off the slab, we wash it, and then every couple years I seal it. So the slab so far has held up really well, and I think part of it is to do with the fact that as soon as we were able to, as soon as it kind of was cured enough, we put a product on called Sikaguard 705. And that is something that was recommended to us by the concrete supplier themselves. They said, hey, we don't sell this stuff, but this is what we recommend that you put on it, especially if you're going to have a garage or a shop or something like that, that you're going to be tracking any type of salt in and out of. So it not only has it worked well, it has worked extremely well. So much so we've actually had some salt sitting on the slab. We had a little small pile of salt sitting on the slab, basically from I think right around Thanksgiving time last winter, all the way up until I believe we got rid of the last of it right around early April. So that salt was on the slab for 4 months, and it did absolutely no damage, which is great. That's exactly what we wanted to do. We wanted the ability to store just a little bit here. That way, if I had a storm come in Saturday evening, Sunday morning, we could load up here, go out, deal with what we had to deal with commercially, and not have to worry about these supply yards being closed, because most of the salt supply yards are closed on Saturday afternoon and Sunday. Now, I certainly don't blame them. I want Saturday and Sunday off myself. So that's one of the things we could do, was store just enough here to service our couple lots to get through the weekend. So that's what we did, and the slab has held up, like I said, tremendously well. So what we're going to do today is I'm just going to do a video of how we actually seal this slab. All right, so as you can see here, we've got our slab, we've got our Mafia blocks, and what I did is I just sprayed expandable foam along the cracks just to help keep some of the stuff out. It doesn't keep everything out, but it helps quite a bit. I got a little bit of staining, just where some equipment sat, things like that. We've got a couple hairline cracks through the slab, but overall it's in really good shape. So what I will do today is I'm going to seal everything in between these Mafia blocks here, and then kind of come at a diagonal across the front of our mowers to the outside. And then next time I'm up here, I'll take this stuff, park it over on this side, and seal the other part of the slab. Now, one of the keys with a product like this is it needs to be applied when the temperature, I believe, is above 50 degrees for 24 hours, something along those lines. It takes a lot longer to actually dry when it's cooler than that. The first time I applied it, I think we were at 40 degrees, and it took a couple days to really dry enough to be able to walk on it. But a day like today, it's a nice breeze. It's 70 degrees right now. It's supposed to be, I guess, in the mid 60s tonight. It's kind of a weird August right now for these couple days. So we're enjoying it, getting some of this outside stuff done that usually you're coated in sweat for, but right now it's a nice couple days. So let's look at this product that I've got here. It's in the back of my truck. All right, and here's what we're using. Sikaguard 705L. It's, you can kind of see what they say here. It is 5 gallons, and what we usually use to put it on, don't mind my battery in the back here, is we use just a simple 2-gallon spray bottle. One of these pump sprayers that you will often use for outdoor yard work, stuff like that. So I don't use this sprayer for anything other than this particular product. And the reason behind it is, for me, the slab is worth a lot of money. And I don't want anything getting in this sealer that's going to mess with the slab at all. So we're really careful with that. So I keep different sprayers for different things. That way there's no cross-contamination, if we can put it that way. So let's get right to it. Let's open this thing up and start spraying. All right, so one of the things it says is to lightly spray and avoid ponding, they call it. What I like to do is we actually spray our Mafia blocks a little bit as well, just to help seal them. Try to avoid the overspray on the machines here. One warning with this product is it can, and most likely will, in some way discolor your concrete. So if that's of concern to you, be warned. That's a very real possibility with this. Obviously, it's going to look a little discolored when I'm doing this now because it would be very similar to spraying water on it. It's a water-like product. It does not smell bad, I will say that. There we go. Like I said, we just spray the Mafia blocks a little bit. Oops. Keep some of any of the salt residue off of those. And we talk a lot about maintenance and maintaining what we have. And that's something that's really important, and it takes time to properly maintain our equipment, our properties, things like that. But in the long run, that time is well worth it, because time is money, right? Somebody says, oh, time is money. I don't have time to maintain this particular thing. Well, let's say if we didn't maintain this slab, and every few years, even if it was every 10 years, we had to come in here and maybe not re-pour, but fix areas that got messed up from having salt on it. Well, I would much rather spend this little bit of time and a little bit of money to quickly seal the slab, just to help prolong its life. And that's something that we do with our machinery as well. It's very, very easy to say, you know what, let me just push it a little longer. Maybe I don't need that oil change right now. You know it says 100 hours, between 50 and 100. Maybe we'll push it to that 120 hour mark. Well, let me be the first to recommend that you don't actually do that. Take that little bit of time and maintain your equipment, maintain your property. It will save you in the long run. It'll save you time, and it'll save you money in the long run. Take it from me, I have found out the hard way that is definitely the case. I'll be 40 years old shortly. I've learned a thing or two because I've seen a thing or two, as they say. And one of the thing or two that I have learned is definitely take care of your property, your equipment, your buildings, things like that. It's worth a little bit of time and monetary investment to properly maintain your equipment and your property, excuse me. So as you can see, this really doesn't take long. It says to avoid pooling, so that's what we're trying to avoid here. We're trying to avoid any pooling. We just spray it on. You can spray it on. It says you can brush it on or even roll it on. I like the spray because it's very simple You know, you get one of these little sprayers for $20 or $25 at your local store, hardware store, Lowe's, Home Depot, anything like that. The actual product itself is quite expensive. So 5 gallons of this stuff is, I want to say, somewhere around $400. So definitely not cheap, but it really prolongs the life, especially when exposed to salt, of concrete. And it's well worth it. At least in my mind, it's well worth it. You saw earlier in the video that overall the slab is still in great shape. And it's been here for a few years. And like I said, it's had the trucks parked on it. It's had some salt on it. It gets a decent amount of traffic in and out. We can put firewood totes on it. We can use our bundler right here with it and on it. So we do that as well. And we've got some pretty good staining on our slab here. We park the plows on it oftentimes during the summer. One of the things that folks don't think about is that the sun will do just as much damage as rain or as snow. And if you can help keep things, if you can keep things in the sun, and if you can keep things out of the sun, they will last longer. So if you look at my tractor, it's not in the video right now, but if you look at the tractor, we always cover the seat, the instrument cluster, things like that with a canvas tarp. And that canvas tarp keeps all that stuff out of the sun. Keeps it out of the rain as well, but it keeps it out of the sun because, especially on those plastics, the rays from the sun actually do more damage than the rain. So this might be a little bit like sealing a driveway if I had to kind of compare something here. I've never spray sealed a driveway, but just nice even flows. A little bit of overlap, all that's good. Some of the area that I already sprayed is actually drying a little bit. So usually what I like to do is run back over that. Especially this side. This is the side that gets the most exposure to the elements and to that salt in particular. The right side here is usually the side that's open. That's where we store some things, where the truck comes in and out. Owen will often even park the trailer right where I'm standing and back it under the covering a little bit. Saves us some time from having to tarp every night, which is very nice. As we said a little earlier in the video, time is money. But you can see this really doesn't take that long. And we've sealed a good amount of it. Abby and I just had a great time up in Boonville, New York. That's at the logging show up there. We didn't buy anything big this year, but that is where the Wolf Ridge splitter came from and where we first looked at the Wolf Ridge conveyor. So we hung out in the booth with the boys from Wolf Ridge. Bob. We spent some time with Bob. We spent some time with Dave. We met the Timber Cutter Patriot, which was kind of fun. It's always neat to meet guys like that. Spent time with Matt from Lily's Firewood, Farm and Firewood. Also time with Adam from Hometown Acres. Sorry, it took me a second to remember his channel. But those guys all do similar things to what we do. Lily's Farm and Firewood does eggs and firewood. I think one thing that we have a lot different from some of the other YouTube channels is we do the maple syrup. And that's kind of our specialty on our channel, if I can put it that way. That in the 8 to 38 series, which I guess we might have to look at 8 to 40 here pretty soon. So I'm just going to walk along the back there and seal the back part again. As you can see, it's already starting to dry. It is a spectacular day to be doing this. We've got low humidity and sun with a little bit of a breeze. So it's a great day to be doing this. So a little story about the slab here, and I call it the building, even though it's not a building. But it's just a slab. We poured it pretty thick. Had a local concrete guy do it for me. But we poured it thick because basically I wanted to be able to park anything I was ever going to own on this slab. So we did that. So rather than maybe 3 or 4 inches thick in the middle, it's actually between 6 and 7 inches thick in the middle. Lots of rebar. It was done right. And it was done right around, I believe, towards the middle of October. And then I had my buddy Andrew come over, and he helped me with his excavator, set the Mafia blocks. And then I got a Versatube little carport, just with the roof, just the metal roof, and the side was just simply some tarps that we put up. We would like to mill a little bit of wood for the side, so I think we'll be doing that hopefully here in the next few months. All right, but that's it. We're all sealed. As you can see, it didn't take that long. And again, this is maintenance. This is stuff that has to happen. Whether you're a property owner, whether you're a business owner, it is well worth the time and money to properly maintain your equipment. Anyway, that's all for today, folks. Thank you for watching Elmendorf Acres. We appreciate it. We appreciate everybody who very religiously watches our stuff and has subscribed. So if you haven't yet subscribed, please consider doing so. I very much appreciate it. And thank you all. Have a great day.